We're all about turning a crappy situation into something positive.
$250,000 of credit card
I
debt.
still remember the day when no one turned up.
Throw it in the garbage and start from scratch.
I could give myself a chance, so I started something.
I mean, I think that counts as from poop to gold.
Our sponsor for this episode is our 14-day video script challenge.
Yes, we are sponsoring our own show.
Yes, we are. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Daniel Harmon, Chief Creative Officer at Harmon Brothers. This is From Poop to Gold. My guest today is Devin Stone. Welcome, Devin.
Hi, it's really great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Devin has a YouTube channel called Legal Eagle.
Yep.
Devin is a lawyer, and he likes to analyze things in the law that aren't regularly analyzed, I'd say. You've got a series on there of Real Lawyers React, where you kind of break down things inside of movies or popular culture from kind of a legal perspective, a real legal perspective, as opposed to whatever the writers were coming up with, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, the goal of the channel is to help people think like a lawyer. And I think the best way to do that is to talk about the things that people really care about, which happens to be often portrayals of lawyers in courtrooms in popular media. So series like Law and Order or Suits, for example. And, in law school, we learn to analyze the law in crazy legal situations. And it just so happens that most of the movies and TV shows that we deal with, even if they're not explicitly about lawyers or the law, they happen to invoke things that would run afoul of so many different laws that we have in this country. So it's really bringing some of the training that I have from law school and being a practicing litigator and talking about how Willy Wonka has broken so many different labor laws and he'd be in jail for years, and Batman would be in Arkham along with Joker for hundreds of years for all the crimes that he has committed as well.
Very cool. What are some of your favorites that you've done? Like I've seen Liar Liar, where you kind of break that down. That's fun. Like, what are some? I've seen the one where you, well, that's the other series of Laws Broken, where you go into like the Sokovia Accords,
right?
All that stuff with the Avengers. Like what are some of the highlights for you of the ones that you've done?
I really like legal comedies
Okay.
that have some accuracy to them.
Okay.
It's really no fun when something really doesn't have any accuracy
basis
at
in
all.
reality
Right,
at all,
yeah.
though, where they're just
Yeah.
making it up.
Right.
They haven't done any of their research.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, this is the way I think it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's no fun for me. I always like to be pleasantly surprised that the writers of these TV shows or movies actually knew what they were talking about. And so one of my favorites is probably Better Call Saul, because not only is that I was a huge Breaking Bad fan, and Better Call Saul just nailed so many things that you just never see on TV. And then the other one that I was surprised about, although I really shouldn't be because they had the best writers in history, is The Simpsons. There's an episode where Bart and Lisa help someone sue the makers of Itchy and Scratchy, and they happen to absolutely get some really arcane parts of copyright law absolutely right. Even going so far back, because it was dealing with an example that was basically like Disney. Itchy and Scratchy was really just a stand-in for Disney.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they were going back to, I think they called it Steamboat Itchy.
They were not hiding anything there.
Yeah, it was pretty clear who they were trying to call back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, there was a change in the copyright law 80 years ago at the time when this thing came out. And so they got those details right in terms of what you had to do to get a copyright back then. So I'm just a huge sucker for The Simpsons anyway. And to see that they got the legal aspects of it right in such a complicated area, I was very, very happy about that.
Well, what's really impressive about your channel is that you have over 600,000 subscribers. So this is resonating, right? And I'm assuming that it's not just with lawyers. I'm sure you've got a lot of lawyers that follow your channel. There are a lot of them in the world, but a lot of people just casually following just out of general interest, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got this fun format where essentially when people comment, you are asking them to like object to what you're saying, right?
Right. I asked for comments in the form of an objection rather than a comment in the form of a comment. And and I have the power to overrule or sustain their objections in the comments, and it's really easy to get drunk on that kind of power.
You're the judge of your own channel.
I am. Some people have called me out for being both the judge and the lawyer on my channel.
Yeah, where you're the lawyer doing the analysis and breaking things down and stuff, and then you're the judge at the same time. Yeah, it's just way too much power.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, but I assume I have a fair number of lawyers who are watching the channel, and knock on wood, they're not too upset with my legal analysis. Hopefully, I'm getting things right. But I think people also just want to know about all the laws that are around us all the time.
It's incredibly complex.
I mean, no one can know all of the laws in this country, and people have noted that probably every single day, every single American breaks some law.
Yeah, basically you say on the channel everything's illegal, right?
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fun. So, how did you decide on YouTube as? Yeah, what brought you to YouTube as a means for basically getting this information out there? What's your journey of like where this started up?
Yeah, part of it is that I think YouTube is becoming the sort of premier social media channel, and part of it is that I just happen to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm addicted to learning how to do things, so. If there's anything that I have a question about in my daily life, I turn to YouTube to try to learn it.
It's your search engine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is absolutely my primary search engine when it comes to knowledge or how to do something. And so I've always really enjoyed the sort of medium of the audio visual nature of YouTube, and I didn't really get to use much of that in practice. We would do it occasionally if we're in court. Sometimes our demonstratives are going to be videos, but for the most part, there wasn't much that I was using in practice. I happen to have this weird background in that when I was in high school, though, it was right at the time that Digital 8 had come out, so it was the first time that consumer camcorders you could transfer it to a computer.
The 8-track.
The 8mm tape.
Oh, the 8mm, not the 8-track. Yeah, okay. The Digital 8, as far as I get what you're saying.
And what facilitated it was this new thing called FireWire just came out, and you could connect your FireWire connector to your Sony camcorder and connect it to the computer.
Transfer it digitally. Yep.
And so in high school, my senior English teacher gave us the option of either writing what seemed like a huge paper. In my mind, it was like 30 pages long. In high school, it's probably 10 pages long, which I could write that in a night now. But my three best friends in high school and I said, to hell with this paper writing nonsense. We're going to just do a video instead. We were given the option of doing a video essay. Yeah. And we ended up spending way more time on the video essay. It ended up being an hour long. It was an SNL style parody of every work of English literature that we had read in English class. Yeah. We got our friends to act in it, and along the way, we learned how to shoot things and how to edit things, and it was a skill that I would use occasionally. Yeah. But after watching YouTube for years, I decided that the best way to participate was to actually go out and make videos myself. So I started the channel, and the rest is history. Now I'm the most popular lawyer on YouTube, which is an insane thing to say.
It's pretty cool, though. So do you have a team behind you that helps you film these now?
Yeah, I'm building it out. I've been lucky enough to work with some amazing video editors, basically from the start. Because I had that background in video editing, I knew how much time it took, and that was definitely not where my time was best spent. So I've been working with a couple of video editors for a while now, and I mean, they make me look good. They're so good at what they do. I'm so happy for it. And yeah, I mean, I'm building out. I work with a legal researcher to help me when I'm writing my scripts. But I really want to ramp up production, so I will need some more help along the way.
Very cool. One of the things I appreciate about your videos is the fact that you try to keep it clever. You try to incorporate humor. You're not just going for dry. You're very much trying to take advantage of the format, of the medium, and do something that no one else is doing there. So kudos to you and your team on that. How do you come up with your creative ideas for these types of videos? Like, what's your brainstorming process for that?
It's a couple of things.
Okay.
I'm lucky enough now that I sort of have momentum in that my viewers and subscribers will actively tell me what they want to see. So I have a video coming out actually today, as we're recording this, of a legal analysis of a trial in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay.
I had no idea that there was a trial scene in SpongeBob SquarePants where Plankton sues Mr. Krab for negligence because he slipped and fell in the restaurant, which is incredible because it's based on a real case.
Yeah.
But people reached out to me and let me know that they wanted to see my legal analysis of that. So partially, it's really listening to what the fans want to see.
Yeah, your commenters, your subscribers.
In terms of the news, crazy legal things are coming out every day, so it's really a process of deciding what crazy thing in the government is going on that we're going to talk about, or in a legal case, and then part of it is just what I would want to see.
Yeah.
I have some new series working in the background that I haven't released yet that are going to be more narrative and story based. Trying my hand at writing some screenplay related things that are still law related, but it's stuff that I would be interested in seeing if I was a law student or interested in the law and the true crime genre. So. I'm lucky enough that I get a lot of feedback and people tell me what they like and what they don't like. So I'm just trying to give people what they want.
So part crowdsourcing, part kind of watching what's in the news and just deciding, what would be kind of cool to do, and then like part just your gut of what you like.
Yeah. Scratching an itch.
Yeah, and just ultimately creating for you something that you think would be cool, and you're an extension of a larger audience, right? And have you ever read the book, The User Method?
I haven't. No.
Oh, it's a good one. Anyway, you should check that out. That talks about creating first. It talks about actually more like inventing something, but I think it applies to just creating in general. So let me ask you about your from poop to gold moment. Like, what's a crappy situation that you've run into either in your career, personal life, whatever it may be, that has turned into something positive? What comes to mind when I ask about that?
So I would say that there are two situations that come to mind, one of which is just a sort of a legal war story, and the other is, I guess, part of my journey as becoming a YouTube creator. The war story is that there was a time when I lost my temper with another attorney who was doing something that was incredibly slimy, and there was a conference that lawyers need to do. In order to file certain motions, you have to meet with the other side. And so I'd previously lost my temper with this attorney. So he thought I was a huge hothead that was totally lacking any self-control. And he blindsided me by hiring a court reporter to transcribe our meeting, thinking that he was going to get me to say something crazy.
To snap again.
Yeah, which is something I've never heard of happening to another lawyer, that getting blindsided with someone to record the conversation. The thing is that he didn't realize that I have a long background in debate and as a trial lawyer, so I'm pretty well under control of what I'm able to say when I need to. And it turned out that I was able to use the transcript of our conference because he had done some things that were totally unethical and he had completely lost it. And I was able to take the transcript, which probably shouldn't have existed in the first place, put it in front of the judge and say, look at what this guy is doing. And he was unprepared because he thought he was going to get me in a bad situation. So
used as evidence actually against him.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And so the other thing that comes to mind is that in April of last year, I left the large corporate firm that I was a senior associate at because I wanted to go out on my own, and I wanted to build my own practice, my own firm, and work on my own business. And there were a few months where I was not sure what was going to happen. And so it gave me some flexibility to experiment with my YouTube channel. And lo and behold, a few months later in July of last year, of 2018, the channel just popped and it went from 15,000 subscribers to 150,000 subscribers basically in the matter of a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
And the rest is history. And I never would have predicted that a year, almost to the day, as we're recording this, that I'd have over 600,000 subscribers. So there were some times when, you know, you're wondering what's going to happen next, and you're sort of aimless. You know, I spent over a decade with basically the same lawyers, working with my mentors, working with younger associates, and you have this whole framework, and to then go off on your own, it's really a huge transition. I'm so happy that it has turned out the way that it has.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So how much of your time now are you spending on actual legal, doing regular lawyer things for clients, as opposed to maintaining a YouTube business?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a practicing lawyer,
Okay.
but the YouTube stuff is slowly pushing out all my client work.
What's your percentage right now of like?
It's
What's the
probably
ratio?
It's probably 60% YouTube, 40%
Oh, wow.
legal work.
So it's
or
actually
business.
it's actually surpassed it at this point.
Yeah, I have had to turn away new clients. The YouTube platform is amazing at getting the word out, and people are interested in my skills as a trial attorney and someone that has a long basis in copyright.
Copyright, yeah.
I would love to continue to work with people, but the YouTube stuff is it's often more fun.
Okay, there
and
you go.
It is
more fulfilling.
Yeah, well, it's a creative outlet. I think I am, fulfilling the mission of helping people think like a lawyer and teaching them about the laws that are around us at all times. So. It's a wonderful experience. I think everyone should have that experience of putting themselves out there and trying to make something creative, because often in our jobs we don't have that opportunity, and it's stifling, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's awesome. So let me ask, can you give our audience a little bit of your credentials when it comes to copyright law? Like you said, you're very deep into that world. I didn't give any background at the beginning. I focused a little bit more on the YouTube channel. If you can speak a little bit to that, some of your experience there.
Sure. So I've been a practicing trial lawyer for 11 years now. A lot of the cases that I've dealt with involve copyright. I spent most of my career in Los Angeles and then moved to Washington, D.C. a few years ago. I have handled copyright cases on behalf of large corporations that you would definitely have heard of, on behalf of movie studios, directors, actresses, actors that you would have heard of. And some of the cases, what happens is that the copyright cases tend to be federal cases. And I have handled cases that have gone up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is one step below the Supreme Court. We've handled a bunch of things in federal court, and I don't know that I've ever lost a copyright case. One case in particular that was relatively recent is that I was defending a group of actors, directors, and producers associated with a particular movie that was sued by a screenwriter who said that the movie infringed on the screenwriter's copyright because of a similarity in a plot point.
Okay.
The court disagreed, and as what happens with copyright, often there's fee shifting, which means that if you file a meritless copyright claim, the judge can award the defendants their attorney's fees. So this plaintiff ended up having to pay us about $350,000 in attorney's fees for throwing his lawsuit out of court.
Oh, wow.
So it's
good on you.
It's a really interesting world when you're dealing with copyright, and it's something that I think creators should probably learn more about, because the stakes can be very, very high.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you go for your sources for the content for your YouTube channel, both in terms of, I guess it would be what you're analyzing.
Yeah.
If it's a popular culture element or in the news or something, and then also as far as like the actual laws themselves or the regulations or whatever you're following.
Yeah, there's no substitute for good old-fashioned legal research, and hopefully I'm able to convey the law in an entertaining way on the channel. But what you don't see on the videos is that every single video has to be researched because the law is incredibly vast, and I'm constantly worried that I'm going to say something that's incorrect. The laws change based on which state you're in, or whether you're in the federal system versus in the state system.
So you always have to do little caveats with things.
I'll always have to do caveats. I always have to look at the case databases and look at the statutes that are on the books. I often use the California and New York laws because I am accepted to the bar in California and New York, so I'm familiar with those particular laws. But I'm terrified that I'm going to get something wrong, so I do lots of research, often dozens of hours of research before I talk about the subjects that I talk about, because the law is complicated even for lawyers too. So I really feel for the people out there that have not gone to law school and don't have a law degree, because it's complicated for us, let alone everybody else.
Wow. Yeah. So so much of your pre-production, quote unquote, for your given video is just the sheer amount of research of just reading laws, reading a bunch of
reading the cases,
dry, terrible, awful things. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. I'm saying this from my perspective, of course.
That's why you need to hire a good lawyer.
That's right. That's why you need to hire a good lawyer. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Devin. Really cool to see a little bit into your brain as a lawyer. Love what you're doing and trying to kind of demystify that for the rest of us. It's a really fun channel for our audience. Where should they hit you up? Where do you want them to look for you?
So the main place is my YouTube channel, Legal Eagle, youtube.com/Legal Eagle. I have another website that I created for creators to teach them copyright called copyrightcourse.com. So if there's anyone out there that has issues with copyright, I've both distilled, I think, what creators need to know about copyright, and also created sort of a methodology to deal with content ID claims on YouTube and that kind of stuff at copyrightcourse.com.
Oh, that's very useful. Thank
you. You can find me on social media, on Twitter at Legal Eagle DJ, and those are the main ones you can find me at.
Very cool. We've got a gift for you.
Oh,
from Poop to Gold.
Thank you very much.
Our book that covers the 3 C's of creative partnerships, creative culture, and creative processes at Harmon Brothers. And thank you again so much for your time. And for
my
coming
pleasure.
on and talking about this. And thank you all for joining us. Be sure to subscribe for more great content, and we'll see you on the next one.
We all kind of reach that point where we know we've created something awesome and we want to share it with the world, right? Mm-hmm. And it's that very next step that can oftentimes be really intimidating or really scary, or you just don't know where to go next, right? And the beautiful thing about this 14-day script challenge is you get your hand held from, okay, you have this cool product, now let's go research and find the exact way to present it and message it to the world in a way that resonates and gets people excited and they're ready to swipe their credit card and purchase. And in the 14-day script challenge, you get the opportunity to go through that step by step with our writers who have done it dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, you actually watch us go through each of the steps ourselves and create it with a real client, a real product, and it's a real campaign that's out there that's been very successful.
That's right. And the feedback that we've had on this thing has just been phenomenal. I mean, we get comment after comment and emails flowing in from people all over the world who have just raved about the impact that this has had on their business.
People tell us over and over again, it is just a huge value punch for the investment for this 14-day script challenge, and really gave them the tool set they needed to walk through it and make it happen.
And we've had dozens of students who have successfully taken the challenge, written their script, launched their ad campaigns, and driven success for their business. It's pretty amazing.
For more information, go to hbros.co/script. That's hbros.co/script.